guys, it's Cece, and this is Top 5 Wednesday. So, Top 5 Wednesday was created by Lainey at Ginger Reads Lainey, and I will leave her information along with the list of booktubers who do Top 5 Wednesday below. This is weird. I'm standing up. I don't usually do this. I feel like I have so much free movement. Anyway, the theme for this Top 5 Wednesday was Top 5 Books with Multiple POVs, which is point of views, I guess. We were supposed to do books that had more than 2 points of view, but that's really hard. So a couple of these have more than 2, but some of them do just have 2 points of view. I hope you'll forgive me. Anyway, let's jump right in. Coming in at number 5. Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. This is one of the ones I was talking about that only has 2 POVs. It just has Will Grayson and Will Grayson. But I picked this book because it uses the different points of view to tell the story, and it's really, really important, and it allows you to be in the head of each of the Will Graysons. Basically, the plot of this book is just that it is told by 2 boys who are both named Will Grayson, and they lead different lives, and then one day they happen to meet. And meeting the other Will Grayson sort of affects the other's life. This is a really good book, and it definitely uses the different points of view to its advantage. Number 4, The Help by Catherine Stockett. I don't have this book here with me because it is at school, but this is one of my favorite books for different people telling the story and being inside different people's heads. You're in the heads of 3 people, if I remember, it's 3. You hear from Skeeter, Aibileen, and Minnie, who are 3 really important women in the story. The Help is a historical fiction novel. I'm sure you've probably heard of the movie. If you haven't read the book, I highly encourage you to read it, because while the movie did do a good job, it changed some really important things. But hearing from the different points of view in this book was really, really important, also because people were coming from different sides on such a big issue that it's really important to see and hear from all these different characters. Plus, all of the characters are so interesting and have such distinct voices that this book is really fun to read because of it. Even though it's not necessarily about a fun subject, obviously, the characters give it some humor that it needs to lighten the tone. Number 3. Arrowfire by Sarah J. Maas, which is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series. I know I've talked about this book a lot, I've already covered it plenty, but this is definitely one of the best examples I've seen of different points of view. I think it's really important. You get to hear from so many different characters and hear about what's going on in all of these different places. My favorite, I will say, was definitely with Selena and Rowan. But I think that all of the different stories that you're hearing about are really interesting, and it really helps the world building in this book. If you don't know what Throne of Glass is about, it's about a girl named Selena Sardothian, and she is an assassin, and that's like pretty much all I can tell you without just explaining the plot of the first novel. But the 3rd book is the best one that I've read so far, and it definitely makes it on my list of favorite books with multiple POVs. Number 2, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Again, I don't have this book with me, it's at school, but this book is another one that only has 2 POVs, but I don't think I could possibly make this list without including Gone Girl, because having 2 POVs is so essential in telling this story. Gone Girl is a thriller. It came out as a movie last year, which is one of the best adaptations I've seen. Highly recommend it. But it is told through 2 perspectives, one of which is Nick, and the other is his wife Amy through her diary entries. It is a mystery novel, so it's really important that you have these 2 different narratives running, and you sort of get twisted up into the plot because you have 2 people that you're hearing from. It is one of my absolute favorite books of all time, and definitely one of my favorites with multiple POVs. And number 1. Monsters of Men by Patrick Ness. This is the 3rd book in the Chaos Walking trilogy. I knew as soon as I saw this topic that this would be my number 1 book, because this is one of my favorite series of all time. This was the first book that I read this year. I read the other 2 in December of last year. Chaos Walking, the first book is sort of about it's an alien planet where somehow, for some reason, everyone can hear each other's thoughts, which is already a really interesting premise. But one of my favorite things about the Chaos Walking trilogy is that whenever there's a conflict, you're not really allowed to take sides, because whenever there's a new side that's introduced, you begin to hear from that side of the story. And Monsters of Men has 3 running narrators, and it just does a fantastic job of using all 3 of them. You can't pick someone that you want to side with because you understand the motivations of all of the characters, and it makes it so much more interesting and fascinating to read. This, to me, is one of the best books of all time written with multiple POVs because it is done so incredibly well. Patrick Ness nailed it. Monsters of Men, read Chaos Walking. I'm begging you to read Chaos Walking. Well, anyway, those are my top 5 books. If you have read one of these, or if you have your own favorite books with multiple POVs, please leave those in the comments below. I'd love to read and talk about them with you. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video real soon. Bye!